Kinan Salumatar. Siya po yung only missing ang activity. Okay, kung sino man po sa inyo ang friend ni Christine, siguro you could inform her. Eh, okay, so I think we could start. Um, by the way, last time did I mention to you that I am recording your class participation in every class discussion natin? Or hindi pa? Hello?
Ma'am, di pa po ata.
Okay. So, sige, from this time onwards, no, for your information, ay pakita ko na lang yung halimbawa ng list. Wait lang. Okay, for your information, this is the sample list na ng class participation sa classes. So, I encourage you, halimbawa si RJ nag-recite siya. Halimbawa, nag-recite siya, I will put a check mark so that, for example, no March 1, pero this is your activity day, kunwari, nag-recite siya. So, I will put a check mark. So that for the computing of grades in your class participation po ha, in your class participation, I could have a more reliable data kung sino talaga ang nakipag-participate sa atin during our class discussion. You could participate by having your recitation and also by taking part with our group chat if ever I have some questions to raise or I ask you some questions. Okay, so before we proceed with our succeeding lesson, let us try to recall our previous lesson. Um, I would like to start our discussion for this afternoon by using an acrostic. And I encourage everyone to participate for a while. Hanapin ko lang. I will- Okay. Use the acrostic values to state your own concept or any ideas that you were able to internalize when we say the word values. Okay, it should start, di ba ang acrostic, dapat nag-start siya doon. Halimbawa, ano ang word na related sa values that is starting on letter V that you could somehow relate or share to us. Yun na. VA, kahit in order or in random ang pagpili ninyo, pwede. Today is March. Nobody would like to answer? Crystal, perhaps you could, ano dear, expound or give a little explanation, halimbawa for V, virtue, or ano yung sinabi mo, venerable, valuable. How about for other letters? Valuable. Ano pa ba yung sinabi niyo? Yes, you may start recording. How about letter A? Hala, don't tell me wala kayong even adjective, noun, or words associated with values education regarding these letters. According to Michelle Guemo, useful, standards, A for action, social responsible, ethical, learned, Miguel. Wait, I will take note pala kung sino yung mga nag-recite. Miguel, Maria Dangeline, Michelle, Maricel, uy, may bago. Maricel, Eunice, Mary Jane Experiences, Joanne Loyal, Michelle Asset. Okay. So thank you for your responses. Those are some of the words or some of the adjectives that you relate to values education. Now, last time, Aldrin, Aldrin, last time we have started discussing humans as multidimensional. No, what are the different dimensions that we have discussed for a human person? What are the different aspects of dimensions of human person that we have discussed last time, if you could remember? Okay, lovely Jane. Joy. What are the dimensions of human person that we have discussed last time? Misery, misery.
Ma'am,
What are the dimensions of human person that we have started discussing last time?
yung ano po, physical, Intellectual, yun po ba, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, physical,
Actually, those are
intellect,
yeah.
environmental, vocational, social, emotional, and spiritual, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Hikari. Ito yung mga sinabi niya kanina. Actually, I just downloaded this week sa internet. The physical, intellectual, moral, spiritual, social, economic, or economical, and we also have political. Now, I would like you to choose one and you discuss or share to us how will you, as a human person, how will you cultivate, nourish, or enhance that aspect or dimension?
Ma'am, ako po, yung spiritual, ma'am.
Nikki pa rin siya. Nikki pa rin to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Continue, Nikki.
Ma'am, ngayon pong sa pandemic, syempre hindi naman po all the time is makaka-attend ka pa rin sa church, pero matutuloy mo pa rin naman yung devotion mo sa bahay through reading Bible, ma'am. So, ako po, yun po yung ginagawa ko every time na parang nafe-feel ko po na nadadown ako, nagtitingin po ako ng mga Bible verses, ganyan. Tapos, nagre-reflect po ako sa sarili ko. Yun po, ma'am.
Actually, Nikki, that's very admirable. No, not all of us are into such kind of activity ng katulad ng ginagawa mo. Actually, minsan hindi pa nga tayo nakakahawak or nagbabasa ng Bible. And it's very important na even by stating our own prayers in morning or before we go to sleep at night, those are some aspects that could enrich our personality or our value system as person. Thank you very much, Nikki. How about Aldrin? Sige na, na-miss ko na yung mga boses ninyo. Magsalita naman kayo. Aldrin.
Ma'am, para sa akin po yung naririnig po.
Yes?
Meron ba?
Aldrin, naririnig ka kanina, dear. Who would like...
Ma'am.
yes, Aldrin, you're back. Yes.
Siguro po yung political po.
Political, yes.
So sa panahon po natin ngayon, madami po yung mga kailangan natin i-support about political. So kailangan po kung i-support, piliin po natin yung mga movement nating salihan. Like mga i-support po natin.
Mga?
So kailangan po natin i-support yung kung anong yung tamang ginagawa ng mga sa politics po natin.
Support. And also, hindi lang in support, no? We also know how to stop those wrongdoings or which we think are beneficial for the sake or welfare of the general people or common people. Okay, thank you, Aldrin. How about Karen May Jose? Yes, it stands for the truth. Karen.
Sa akin po yung naririnig na po.
Yes.
Sa akin po may yung spiritual po. Kasi po, ngayon pong pandemic, hindi po tayo nakakapunta sa katulad po sa amin, hindi po kami nakakapag house to house, hindi po kami nakakapunta ng church para magsimba. Pero gumagamit po kami ng virtual sa virtual po, katulad po sa Zoom, ganyan. Na imbes na pupunta po sa church para magsimba, dun po sa Zoom mag tawag na to, mag-aaral ng salita ng Diyos, magbabasa. Tapos po kung meron pong istudihan, imbes po na pupunta po ng bahay-bahay, um, nakiki-connect po through virtual din po. Hindi pa rin po na, hindi, kahit po may pandemic, hindi po hadlang yung nangyayari dahil meron naman pong virtual.
Actually, Karen, most of us, I think, ay mas na-strengthen pa ang kanilang spirituality because of the uncertainty brought by this pandemic. Okay? How about the others? We have, I think, political and spiritual. How about the others? We still have five.
Ma'am,
Carlo?
ako
Po,
po.
ma'am.
Wait, RJ. Mauna si RJ.
Ma'am, ako po.
Si RJ.
Ma'am, yung sa akin po moral po.
Moral. Yes.
Ma'am, kasi alam naman po natin and um, na nararamdaman po natin na sa panahon po ngayon, ma'am, marami pong mga tao yung parang iniisip po nila yung pansarili nilang interest kaysa mag-spread po ng goodness to others. So, for me po, mas mahalaga pong pag-itingin or enhance po natin yung moral pong dimension ng human. Nang sa ganun po, ma-spread po natin yung love, caring, sharing, and understanding po sa iba. And as well po na maging maganda rin po yung takbo ng
Yes, RJ. Di ba parang pasok nga dyan yung sinabi ni Theodore Roosevelt, no? To educate a person in mind and not in morals is like creating a menace in society. Okay? How about Michelle? I think ikaw yung isa kanina. Tama?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ang sa akin po naman, ma'am, is social na dimensions of human po. Sa panahon po natin ngayong may pandemic, nalilimitahan na po yung socialization po ng bawat isa. Pero dahil po sa technology or sa social media, nakakapag-socialize pa rin po tayo, lalo na din po sa family natin kahit medyo ganito po yung panahon natin. Mas na-strong po yung relationship natin sa bawat isa. Yun po, ma'am.
Yeah, and also by cultivating our social aspect, parang at least somehow we are becoming stronger in dealing with our stress, conflicts, or problems in life, no? Kasi na ikukwento natin sa iba or because we are gaining plausible inputs or kumbaga mga effective inputs or advice from other persons or ng mga friends natin, family members natin. Ayan. Nakakagaan ng pakiramdam if you are able to articulate what are your problems, what are your desires in life, no? Or what are the things that you keep on thinking of or yung mga bumabagabag sa isip ninyo, ganon. Okay, thank you, Michelle. And we are down to three na lang yata. Physical. Sino pang gustong sumagot? Magtatawag ako ulit. Or you could volunteer if you want. Sorry. Gina Antonio. Manang Gina.
Ma'am,
Yes.
sa akin ma'am yung intellectual po.
Yes, for intellectual.
Siguro
And
may
this one to you're studying in this pandemic. Gina.
Ma'am, sorry po.
Continue.
Siguro ma'am, mag-improve naman po yung sa intellectual through pagbabasa po ng mga books. And marami naman pong resources sa mga internet po na pwedeng basahin.
You have just to, kumbaga, cultivate your routine, no? Establish your routine and in reading, no? Or establishing your own study time para at least ma-sustain pa rin yung inyong intellectual development or aspect as a human person. And another one, Jasmine. Sorry, Victoria, sige. Victoria.
So physical po yung napili ko eh. In times of pandemic or even without the pandemic, we should be physically healthy kasi kapag physically healthy ka, nare-reduce yung, kunwari, sige, quiet. Kapag physically healthy ka, malayo ka po sa sakit. And yun po ang kailangan natin ngayong pandemic. Tsaka pag nag-exercise ka, nababawasan yung stress and anxiety mo. Lalo na ngayong pandemic na nandito lang tayo sa bahay and virtual lang tayo nakikipag-communicate.
Yeah. That's very good, no? Siguro sa inyo, we have many of you na nag-exercise, no? And nagre-restrict sa kanilang mga diet. Ako yun yung medyo kulang ko, siguro, yung even siguro pagsusumba or konting ehersisyo or galaw, yun siguro yung kailangan kong incorporate sa aking daily routine, which is kulang pa sa akin. Have we mentioned all the 7 dimensions already? Physical, intellectual, at economic. Yes, Princess Anne. Princess Joy Arcida. Tama?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sorry.
Yung sa akin po kanina sana physical, pero sige po, dahil economic na lang po yung natitira.
Yes.
Sa economic po, syempre, ngayong pong pandemic, nandiyan na po yung pagbagsak ng ekonomiya. Kaya, pero naging rin po dahil sa mga online selling, ganon. So, we have to support each other's product. Hindi lang tayo dapat consumer, dapat producer din tayo.
Consumer and producer. Okay. Parang papasok siguro dito yung responsible consumerism ng mga available resources din natin kasi limited na, most especially yung mga unstable ang kanilang income, no? Marami silang mga nalalearn na lessons on how to spend wisely their available resources, no? Okay. I'll just try to share yung ating dito. This one. Ito yung last natin, tama? Wait lang. This is our last lesson. So, we have again mentioned the different conceptions about values education and what is the definition of values education in the context of the educational system. We say values education. This is the process by which values are formed in the learner under the guidance of a teacher as he interacts with his or her environment. Yan. Natapos natin yan. And of course, the major goal of values education framework is to provide or promote values education in all 3 levels of education system. What are the 3 levels of education system? What are the 3?
Primary, secondary, and tertiary.
Elementary, ma'am. Secondary and tertiary.
Yeah. the better term there or more appropriate term there is elementary. Kasi pag primary, parang ang kinikater mo lang doon RJ ay grade 1 to grade 3. Intermediate naman, grade 4 to grade 6. That's the difference nila. So, for us to cater all the elementary, for the all grade levels in elementary, mas magandang elementary, secondary, and then the tertiary level. Okay. Ano to? These are the different objectives. Balikan lang natin. That is, ayan, proper implementation of the program will develop Filipinos who are self-actualized, social beings with a sense of responsibility. You are a productive person and have a deep sense of nationalism and are committed to the progress of our nation. And of course, no, you manifest in actual life an abiding faith in God as a reflection of your spiritual being. These are also the different principles and guidelines. Sige, puntahan natin yung kanina. Ito na yun kanina, di ba? Yung the different dimensions or aspects of human person, no, in relating to core values. We have physical, being spiritual, being intellectual, being moral, being social, being economic, and being political. So what are the core integrated values for each dimension? For instance, under the physical, which as a human person, you have to maintain harmony with nature, no? Health and harmony with nature through, ito yung mga related values, holistic health, cleanliness, physical fitness, reverence or honor or high respect for life, and even environmental care. Okay, bakit papasok dito ang environmental care sa ating physical health? Blessing Marie Soberano.
Ma'am, good afternoon po.
Magandang hapon.
Ma'am, ano po ulit yung tanong?
Why is environmental care or cleanliness considered as a related value or values under the physical dimension of man?
Ma'am, kasi po nakakaapekto rin po yung nasa paligid natin sa kung paano tayo mag-isip and kung paano tayo maging sa pag-action, ma'am. Para maging aware po.
Okay, thank you, Blessing me. Actually, no, whatever we do with our environment, it will always have some repercussions on us or towards us. Kung maingat tayo sa kapaligiran natin with our blessings or with the different activities na ginagawa natin, environmental friendly ba siya or hindi, babalik at babalik sa atin. Kaya nga minsan, we have floods and other calamities, no? Experiencing or may mga poisoning na nangyayari because of the, kumbaga, kapabayaan ng mga tao. Okay? Yet, for the intellectual, ayan, as an individual, you shall always look for truth as well as tolerance of other people's ideas or opinions. No? What are the related values? Love of truth, critical thinking, of course, creativity, openness, and respect for others. Papasok dyan yung tolerance ninyo. Future orientation, dapat futuristic ka din. And also your scientific orientation to test your critical thinking skills or your problem solving skills. That's for intellectual. And for the moral, no, as an individual, no, these are the related values that we have to bear in mind. No? Our self-worth, the goodness, honesty, and integrity of a person, uh, making or establishing our personal discipline, having the courage, trust, as well as compassion and caring. And in terms of spiritual aspect, no, we have to, yan, strengthen our faith in God, build our inner peace, religious tolerance, and of course, peace or unity of all. And for social, there are kumbaga, two classifications or two related values which has subordinates. Ayan. And in terms of family, are the things you have to consider. No, you have to build peace and justice by respecting and showing your love to one of your family or to all your family members and responsible parenthood. And in a greater extent, no, for social, no, respect for human rights, no, concern for common good, the cooperation, social responsibility plus accountability of your actions, your creative will, fairness, appreciation of diversity, and active non-violence. So that's for social. Para for social, it emphasizes living together, no? Living together in harmony and peace, in love, harmony, and peace. And for the economic, as a human person with economic dimension, you should know how to balance between economic and social development. What is beneficial for our economy as a person or as a group or as a community? How will you raise the economy or what activity will you do to raise our economy? Protection of the environment, okay? Hindi lamang po basta pag-raise ng economy ang ipo-consider natin, but we also have to consider the protection of our environment. Baka naman, no, ang economic activity na kino-consider natin could be harmful to the society or community. And also, we have to take note of the wise use of resources, even responsible consumerism, hindi porket available or nandyan, labis-labis ng paggamit. Ayan, productivity, and of course, the very important is the quality. The product that we should be producing or utilizing shouldn't be substandard and economic equity. Okay, it must be somehow equal to almost or equal to almost citizens, no, or all the citizens can access or can have can have the chance to experience, to participate, or to at least procure that economy, and also work ethic. And ayan, ito yung raising ngayon or mataas ngayon the entrepreneurial spirit because of the pandemic. Halos lahat ng mga neighbors natin, even ako, or halos lahat ng estudyante, or yung mga kung dati ay patambay-tambay lang, no, nag-boom ang entrepreneurial spirit ng mga Filipino. And another one is, ayan, for political, in terms of the local context, which is nationalism, of course, our love of country or the patriotism in your curriculum, especially in elementary, the heroic acts done by these heroes were mentioned or were given as an example, and then appreciation of cultural heritage, okay, democracy, freedom and responsibility, your civic consciousness, what are your responsibilities as a citizen of the country. And of course, there is an active participation and then committed leadership and national unity. In terms of globalism, ayan, international understanding and solidarity, or really becoming aware of international or foreign events, foreign affairs that makes our country involved or somehow related. Ayan, even interdependence, appreciation of world heritage. Ay, sorry, under globalism, this is parang ganyan siya pala. For international understanding and solidarity, we have interdependence and appreciation of world heritage. For cultural freedom, we have this global peace. Okay? So these are the different core and related values na related po sa ating dimension as human person. The seven dimension of human person. Again, what are the seven dimensions of human person? I would like to call Elijah. Hindi ko pa narinig si Elijah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, what again? Let's recall what are the seven dimensions of man or human person.
Physical, intellectual, moral, economic, spiritual, political, ah, wala. So, yun po. Pero may kulang pa pong isa.
Ano yung kulang niya? Ay, wait, may nag-request.
Ay, social po ata.
According
Social.
to Chris Joyce Martin, and we have,
Social.
yeah, physical, intellectual, social, moral, spiritual, and political. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's move on to our new lesson. Our next lesson is theoretical foundation in the study of values. Nandyan na po si Samortin, sorry, or wala pa?
Ma'am, meron po.
Dear, ikaw na lang tama. Siya yata yung wala kanina sa ating, sorry, check ko lang. Salumatar, sorry, Salumatar. Wala pa si Salumatar. Ito, tingnan nyo. So, I could see all their outputs na except for Christine. Pakisabi na lang, ha? Okay. Wala din siya ngayon. Dito naman siya. Christine? Christine? I think hindi siya maka-attend right now sa kanyang gadget. Okay, but for the meantime, let us proceed with our next lesson. Let's have the theoretical foundation in the study of values. So these are our target outcomes. Outline the seven criteria of valuing and the phase theory of values, and name the values, skills, and their development. Nahiwalay ito isa. Another one is, mabasa. Ayan, identify the characteristics of values according to Max Scheler and classification of values and its properties according naman kay Thomas Andre. Okay. Let's have first again the meaning of values. According to, if you could recall on our, the first definition is according to Brian Hall. Yan. According to Brian Hall, when we say values, it refers to the major priorities that man chooses to act on, to live on, no? based on set of alternatives that enhances not only his life but also no the lives of whom this individual associates with. Okay, it is another one. It's being itself or the richness of being in as much as it is has the power to attract the cognitive and appetitive potentials of men. So values, your value no shall enrich your being as an individual. And another one according kay Brightman, no, according to Brightman, values are the principles and ideals by which man lives. Okay, so those are some of the definition or meaning or nature of values that we have discussed in our previous lesson. Okay, another one, according to Carter V. Good, peryodo pa lang niya, any characteristics deemed important because of psychological, social, moral, or aesthetic consideration, di ba? We have mentioned kanina that because we are multidimensional as a person, there are also dimensions of values na pinagpipilian natin in consideration of our options. So, based on the definition given by by Carter, no, it is something that is perceived as important, prized, cherished, favored, approved by the person, no, in terms of psychological, social, moral, or aesthetic consideration. Another one, according to Hume and Piaget, refers to the stance that the self takes to the total environment as expressed through behaviors, ideas, body, and feelings and imagination. When we say stance, di ba, ito yung, it's the way how you stand. It's the way how you stand. Minsan, we try to make an assessment sa isang tao based on the way he stands, di ba? Parang ganun din daw ang values, no? Your values shall be manifested in your behaviors, in your ideas, feelings, imaginations, or it shall be manifested or be visible in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day speech or actions. They must be visible. Kaya nga stand, nakikita siya. Another one is anthropologists and sociologists refer to those criteria according to which a community judges the importance of persons for patterns, goals, and other sociological aspects of community. For the anthropologist or sociologist perspective, these are the uh, consensually validated social expectations or behaviors, socially accepted behaviors ng isang organization or ng isang community. Okay, these are the things that they believe are important, no, for their society or for their community. Ganon. In a community aspect po, pag sinasabi natin anthropologist or sociological perspective, these values are the ones that are perceived by a certain community that are somehow important in preservation of their culture, in preservation. According to Karl Marx, actually this one is a theory more related for economics, I think, but it has some implications or applications in terms of values education. Labor theory of value. Value of a thing is determined by the labor time it contains. 'Di ba? When you invest more time, more effort, more for a certain product, mas nagmahal siya or mas tumataas ang value niya. Diba? Parang ganun. It goes well too, for instance, no, in cultivation of a certain value, if you experiences more, kumbaga, more effort in learning that value, mas nati-treasure mo siya. Kasi mas maraming resources ang input, or mas maraming efforts or sweat ang input, kaya mas i-value mo siya or i-cherish mo siya. Parang kapag ang isang bagay ay easy to get, there is, ang kaakibat niya ay smaller value. Pero kapag ang isang bagay ay medyo pa-get, ayan, you will learn to value it, or you will learn to give it more value. Okay, that's for Karl Marx. And of course, in terms of the idea of olden times, no, when we say value, it refers to, ayan, what is good. Value na yun. Basta what is good, what is desirable. That's value. Okay, so those are the different definitions again of values. Any question? You may raise your hand if you have question. Okay, kung walang question, type proceed. Proceed. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's have the process of valuing, or also known as values clarification. Oftentimes in our lives, we engage in this form of values clarification. Most especially if we are turn into decision making ng mga gusto natin. Parehas ay gusto natin, and somehow we really really evaluate kung ano ba talaga yung priority natin. Diyan pumapasok ang values clarification. In terms of valuing kasi, madali mamili kapag not of ay kapag between the two options, isa lang ang favor mo. Ang mahirap pagdating sa values clarification, kung both option, or both, ang tawag nito, both choices ay gusto mo. Ayan. Papasok dyan kung ano yung mas ipa-priority mo sa kanila. Okay, according to Louis Ras, unless all of the seven are present, then what a person has chosen is not a value. So, ipapakita natin later what are those seven. What are those seven things that we have to consider. Pag kulang lang ng isa doon, ibig sabihin daw, hindi na daw value yon. So, we have to make sure that, no, for us to call it our own value, we have to make sure that the seven things are present. Okay. Based on Louis Ras, kinategorize niya siya sa tatlo. These are choosing, writing, and acting. And these are the subordinates. Etong pitong ito yung sinasabi. These are the things that we have to check kung check ba tayo dito or hindi. Otherwise, hindi daw value yun kung may isang wrong or X or na-miss natin. Okay, wait lang. Nag-signal ang cellphone, ay, ang aking laptop. Lobat na siya. Wait. Okay. For choosing CPA, choosing, pricing, and acting. For choosing, no, make sure that your value is chosen freely. Anong ibig sabihin noon? Chosen freely. No, there should be no other person, no, or individual who let you choose that value. Dapat yan ay kumbaga your innate desire, or kumbaga in your own volition kung ano yung value na yan. Hindi ka pinilit. Yan. And take note to choose from alternatives. There should be alternatives or choices to be considered. Pagpipilian mo. And then, to choose from alternatives after thorough or thoughtful consideration of the consequences of such alternatives. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging impulsive without considering the possible consequences or repercussion of our choices or actions. Take note, you must be decisive in your decisions, in your values, in your priority, no? Kasi sabi niya, we have to consider kung ano yung possible consequence niya. Hindi, ataratan, bahala na. Okay. Kung na-miss natin ito, so hindi na siya kino-consider na value talaga natin. Maaring sinasabi natin, yeah, it's our value or it's our priority in life. Pero if in technicality or basing on this values clarification process by Louis Rath, kailangan ma-check natin ito or ma-consider natin ito. Kasi minsan, I think this is one of the usually neglected part, no? Thoughtful consideration of the consequences of such alternatives. Another one is, so for that is for choosing. Another one is for pricing. Ayan. To cherish and be happy with the choice, and to be willing to affirm the choice publicly. Do you cherish your value, your priority in life? Happy ka ba sa napili mong choice or hindi? And are you willing to affirm your choice to other people? Or baka naman isinakahiya mo yung napili mo. Okay? That's pricing. Cherishing, and treasuring. Parang ganon. Another one is acting. To do something about the choice. Okay, you have now your choice. So, you have to try it out. Work it out. Ayan. Kita mo, it must manifest in your behavior. And to act. Take note. Repeatedly. Ibig sabihin, it is a value that is consistent in your action, in your behavior, in your daily speech. Ayan. To affirm the choice publicly. Okay, so that's for Louis Rass. Choosing, pricing, acting. According naman kay Thomas Andres, no, check natin kung pasok din dito yung mga pagpili natin ng values natin or priorities in life. Were the values chosen from a range of alternatives that I was aware of? Okay, check or no? Did I consider the consequences of the alternative? Check or no? Is the value evident in my behavior? Have I acted on it? Do I act on this repeatedly in some fashion through a variety of similar experience? Check or no? Am I happy and pleased with the choice? Check or no? Am I willing to state it publicly? Yes or no? Does the value enhance and not impede the development of my emotional and spiritual well-being? Okay. So, i-consider natin yung values clarification ni Louis Pratt and saka ni Thomas Andres, almost similar sila, no? However, ito kasi, meron siyang categories or classifications. Pero yung kay Thomas Andres, it's more of question, in question form. Any question on values clarification? Or could you share class, no, one of values that you possess, one of the values that you possess na sa tingin nyo ay pasok sa category na binigay nila. Could you share to us? Wait lang ha, could you share? Or wala pa? Still on process. You may type you may type in our group chat kung it's still in process or nagde-develop pa lang kayo, or you could share in our group chat that value na na-develop na ninyo na sa tingin nyo ay check sila. Hazel, may gusto kong i-share? Am I still audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Try to participate po. No? Kung wala pa, di sabihin nyo, it's still on process or anything. Hazel Joy, what's your status on this values clarification? For the third time, Hazel Joyce, are you there? Okay, thank you. May mga sumagot na pala dito.
Ma'am, ma'am, sorry po. Ano po yung tanong na-disconnect kasi ako kanina?
I've presented the different stages or sabihin na natin process of valuing here. According to Louis Ras, we have CPA, choosing, pricing, and then acting. Ito, you have to satisfy all these 7 indicators. And according to Thomas Andres naman, ito yung mga questions niya. Ang tanong ko kanina, if you have already, kumbaga, may values na kayo na sa tingin nyo ay nasa-satisfy ng mga indicators nila or questions nila. Kung wala naman, you could say still on process or yun nga, kung still on process pa or talagang wala pa. Kasi sabi nila, for it to be considered value, dapat daw, we should be checked on the 7 indicators. Okay, teams na na-disconnect na naman yata si Hazel. So, According to Father Jaime Bulatao, he is a Filipino psychologist. No, there are four large areas of value for the Filipinos. Ano yung mga areas ng values natin as Filipinos? This was listed on his article. Ano na yung title niya? Sorry, tignan ko lang yung title ng kanyang article. The Manileños Mainstream. Okay. Parang siya tinignan niya kung ano yung mga areas ng values nating mga Filipino. And for number one, we have emotional closeness and security in the family. And then number two, the authority value. Number three, economic and social betterment. And for number four, patience and suffering. Wait lang ha, may visitor lang pa sa gitna. Okay, so we have emotional closeness and security in family. Sa tingin ninyo, ano yung mga manifestation ng area na to in our society or in our country? What is the
Siguro po yung
manifestation?
family ties po.
Elijah, yes, there is, Filipinos are very noted or remarked, no, because of our strong or close family ties. Sabi nga din nila, there is no place like home, di ba? Even there are instances na that in a certain family may mga pagkakataon na one of their family members, no, ay iniiwan ng kanilang pamilya, but no, when the time that they think they are ready to face their family, no, pag nakita natin yung individual na yon or yung family member natin na yon, no, somehow we always welcome them. And even halimbawa, umalis tayo ng bahay natin, di ba? Pagdating natin sa bahay, there's no place like home. Okay? How about the authority value area or authority value? Ano po yung mga examples or manifestation natin dyan? Authority. Di ba kumbaga, it's typical in Filipino family to respect and honor the words of our fathers for somehow, no, they are the ones in authority sa ating mga pamilya. Minsan, sabi nga nila dun sa history natin, no, we couldn't marry somebody without the approval of our parents. Diba yun yung mga kalimitang gawain noon. And then another one, for authority, somehow, um, kapag sinabi natin authority, sila yung mga nasa taas, yung mga, kumbaga, boss. Pagdating sa work, they are the boss. Ito minsan, for those who are landing their job or finding their job, yeah, yan, government, you are looking for somebody who could help you, no? Yung iba nga, ang sabi nila ay may backup, parang ganon. Okay, for the economic and social betterment, okay, syempre, every Filipino family aspires to make the life of their own family better, no? You seek for um, a better life for your own family. And sabi dito, papasok din sa economic and social betterment yung depth of gratitude, Kumbaga, ayan, magbabayad tayo ng mga utang na loob natin due to some, kumbaga, mga favors din na hiningi natin sa ating mga, halimbawa, family member or neighbor or somebody we know or we knew that could help us. Ayan. And then for patience, suffering, and endurance, dito pumapasok yung ating pagiging religious-oriented as a country. Most particularly, sabi niya doon sa book, wait lang, most particularly daw po sa mga babae. This value has been fused with religious values since it seems that God is called upon when other means fail. It is associated with women more than with men. Since, kumbaga, it's also typical in our community na mas nakikita natin most especially for the Christians like us or in our community na lang, no? Pag may mga um, church activities na ganyan, mas makikita mo sa chapel ang babae, bibihira ang lalaki. I don't know, dito sa place namin, ang laman ng chapel namin ay usually babae. Swerte na sa amin kung merong or three or five na nagpa-participate sa church. Okay? So, that's for Father Jaime Bulataw, the four large areas of values for us as Filipino, which were written in his article, the Manileños Spring. Ayan. Another one is the faith theory of values. What are the faith theory of values? There are four phases. Okay. For the phase one, kung papansinin niyo dito, yung phase ng value na to, it is self-centered. Sorry, nagagalaw sa pag self-centered. And for an individual, ang feeling niya, the world is mystery. So basically, ang ginagawa ng mga decision sa life or yung mga ginagawa niyang priorities or mga chosen values niya sa life ay centered on him or herself. For phase one, it is self-centered. So for stage one, it's satisfaction from daily survival. An individual chooses that value for his or her survival. Hindi pa niya naiisip yung iba, basta yung kapakanan niya. Stage one. For stage two, the person has moved from purely physical to emotional needs that are physically related. So, what are our physical to emotional needs na somehow physically related? Ano yung mga yun? Sa tingin ninyo, Juen, physical to emotional needs that are somehow physically related. Anong pwede nating example dito? Anong mga desires natin? Juen? Or anyone, raise your hand if you want to answer. Kasi on stage one, purely, purely your actions are for your survival as individual. But for stage two, ayan, at least somehow, nakikipag, you move from purely physical. Aside sa physical needs mo, papasukan mo ngayon or i-discern mo ngayon kung ano naman ang emotional needs mo na kailangan mo. Pero, related daw siya physically. Ano kaya yung mga yon? Food, your cravings, pwede, comfort food, ayan. So, basta kung papansinin niyo dito for phase one, most of your decisions in life are centered on yourself. Okay? For phase 2, ayan, may answer din si Miguel, year 1. For phase 2, choices are now based on social rather than your physical needs. Okay. So, tumataas na siya. Stage 1, values are marked by the need to belong. Yun, belongingness, love and belongingness. And also, authority is direct authority. Kung babalikan natin yung kay Father Bulataw kanina, the authority is value. Ayan, papasok pa dito. Authority is direct authority. Another one is personal values became institutionalized, or somehow you are able to put in your own system what are your personal values. Okay? For stage 3 or phase 3, sorry, for phase 3, word is perceived as creation process. Hindi na siya mystery, unlike sa phase 1. Dito na creation process to which persons are invited to make contribution. You should learn to make contribution. For stage 1, you are highly independent and self-seeking. And for stage 2, heavy atmosphere of institutional duties and obligations. Kung papansin niyo dito, it's also somehow, kumbaga pinapakita niya na the person is highly independent, no? Can work on his or her own. But for stage 2, ayan, you know what are you are bound to fulfill your institutional duties and obligations. Although sa stage 1, it is more focused on yourself, but there is still no the creation process naman na nasa isip ng isang tao. Okay? But you are self-directed or self-guided individual. Okay? And for the phase 4, ayan, sorry, wrong spelling, this is consciousness. Ano lang spelling ng consciousness? Conscious, wala na, mali na ako. Concuio. Anong spelling ng conscious? Nakalimutan ko na. Ayan, CIOU. Consciousness. Tama na ba? Ay, may E. Ayan. Up na doble ang E. Ayan. Ano ba? I don't know, basta consciousness yan. Consciousness of self has expanded so that a person now thinks globally and even, sabi niya dito, cosmically. So, for stage 1, individual's perception of the world changes drastically. Kasi you are able to consider, no, kumbaga the welfare of the whole comic, whole universe. Basta mas malawak na yung welfare ng ano yun, mas malawak na yung yung welfare ng mga tao na iniisip mo. Not only to your community, not only to your local community, to your country, but also not to the other continents. Okay? Stage 2, ayan, changes our experience, choices, and actions are based on we rather than okay. So those are the phase theory of values. Okay, so for you, okay na po ba siya or shall we elaborate more? Basta for the phase 1, it's more of yourself. And for the phase 2, no, you consider now the social. You go beyond your physical need as a person. And then for the phase 3, you contribute as an individual. And then most especially, no, for the phase 4, you consider the welfare of the kumbaga ikaw ay nagiging global person, nagiging updated ka sa mga current events internationally or foreign, okay? Next, another, may next class po kayo or wala?
Meron po, ma'am.
Meron po,
Ano
ma'am.
Meron po, ma'am.
Meron po.
Sige, kasi 2:24 na sa akin. Pwede nating ituloy na lang sa susunod para hindi mabitin itong isang topic ulit kasi may set pa siya kasunod.
Yes,
Okay
ma'am.
lang po?
Yes, ma'am. Okay
Yes,
lang
ma'am.
po.
Okay lang po.
Sorry, wait lang. Activity week pala next week. Ayan. Sige, tignan ko ano pang ipapa-activity ko next week. Medyo mahaba pa kasi. Para i-continue na lang next time. Okay, sige. For the meantime, that ends our discussion. So next time, more on participation pa tayo parang ang na-note ko lang ngayon ay 16 ang nag-participate. Ida, hindi ko yata nasulat si Ida. Ay, hindi yata nag-recite kanina si Ida. Tama ba? May I just state kung sino yung mga nanood ko? RJ, Michelle, Crystal, ay na-double pala si RJ ulit, Danjeline, Michelle, Miguel, Aldrin, Mary Jane, Erelka, Lovey Jane, pati si Erelka na doble, Chris Joy, Maricel, Nikki, Karen. Meron ba akong hindi na note? Sabihin nyo na, kung nag-decide kayo kanina, hindi ko na note. Kasi mag-check na ako sa attendance ng participation ko.
Gina po.
Na. Who else? Yeah, Princess Joy.
Si Victoria po.
Yeah. Princess Joy. Thank you, Victoria. Wala na po. Next time yung iba, I want to hear your voice. Next. I want to hear your thoughts, your insights. Okay, no more questions. You may leave if you have no questions. Yes, si Marie.
Ma'am, si Elijah din po nag-recite po kanina, ma'am.
Sige, thank you, Elijah. Noted. Okay, you may leave na para makarelax naman kayo ng konti para sa next class ninyo.